Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a D&D sex icon, and we're back today with yet another episode of The Long March Kingmaker. We have the full cast and crew with us, most of us alive and awake, so that's pretty exciting. So thank you guys for waiting with us today while Josh wakes up from his vampiric slumber. Now he's got a cup of blood and should be ready to play by the looks of things. But let's go around the cast and crew. Let's figure out who we are and who we're playing. Let's start with Tour Squall. How you doing, Squall?
I am doing good. I am excited to be here. It's going to get interesting today as we possibly get to where we were headed and find out whether the king is dead. I am playing Calvin, and Calvin is Bard, and he is just happier and happy can be to be right here, and he's happy to be here. Right here he is. Yes, happy. Good to see you.
Great stuff. We also have Jess back with us tonight. Little Cup of Joe. How you doing, Jess?
I am doing great. Yeah, I'm Jess, Little Cup of Joe on the Twitters. I play Lucy, the human wizard who's been having a rough time, but apparently has a pet stag now, so that's neat. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we find out. If the king is dead, if he's not dead, what the heck is going to happen to all of us?
Yeah, it's it's stressful. But we also have Laura Lania back with us tonight. We're going to try and fix Tia's bit of latency on the camera today here in a few minutes, so bear with us. But Tia, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've had a great day. I did my damn cardio, so I'm happy. I'm excited to play Sarah. I hope that my underduck lives, and really excited to see where she kind of goes with her emotional maturity from here after seeing Mr. Gavin Fjordhammer. So lots of exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And last but not least, arising from the grave, like the undead he is, we have Mr. Encounter Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Hello, I am good. I'm good. Everything is fine. Everything went to plan. I took some sleeping pills to help me sleep last night. That was about 12, maybe 14 hours ago, and that was the last time I remember.
How many of them did you take?
I took like 2. Sleeping pills and me do not get along, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna, because I need some sleep. I slept through all my alarms. Anyway, terrible things have happened, and from me onto my players, that's how it's gonna roll. It's gonna shit rolls downhill, so it's all gonna end up on you guys. That's how we're gonna play it off today, so that's gonna be fine. Do you want me to do a little recap of last episode, or?
In just a moment, I will, but I'll quickly run us through the sponsors for the show before we get into that. Of course, I'm reminding you guys that we're sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the maps, tokens, roles, and images are from fantasygrounds.com, so definitely go over, check them out. They've got a huge Steam summer sale on at the moment, so be sure to check out all of the discounts on Fantasy Grounds. It really is the best time to get.
Oh no.
And I'm back. Seemingly my internet just cut out there, but I've changed connections, so it should be good. But yes, definitely check out Fancy Grounds. We love Fancy Grounds. We've got a huge Steam sale on at the moment. Yes, Underduck has some Wild Magic Surges.
I will roll for the Underduck. I will roll for the Underduck.
Good stuff. Of course, we're also sponsored by Wayland Games, so go over to waylandgames.co.uk and check out all of their D&D maps, minis, and board games that they have over there, up to 20% off the retail value. They've got pre-orders and all the new D&D books as well, so definitely go and check those guys out. Of course, if you haven't followed the show, be sure to hit the follow button and join us, because when we hit 20 followers today, you guys in chat get to decide something which happens next in our game in a viewer decision. The same goes for when we hit 20 retweets on this tweet, so get retweeting. And last but not least, you can, of course, donate to affect the game as well by giving players nat 1s, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and worse. I have 2, the Underduck has 2. We'll get to those in a moment. We'll go and look those up, but in the meantime, I'll hand over to Josh to remind us of what happened last time on the show.
Indeed. So last time on the show, the party found themselves in a small town. You are about as far south as you can go in the kingdom before you're crossing the border into the NFFC's territory. And it's going to be sort of a difficult journey, as you've been getting the vibe from what you've heard from the locals, from Stavros, the individual who gave you this job, that there's a lot of tension on this border and on every border with the NFFC as they control almost all of the food in the kingdoms at the moment, and they are stockpiling it. And they've assured everyone that everyone will get their allotted amount of food, and they're going to distribute it not to sort of nobles, not to castles, but they're going to see that everyone is fed, or as many people can be fed as possible. Make sure that no one sort of gets rich off this famine. And because of all that, it's been a bit of a difficult sort of journey down here. Things are pretty tense as you get this far south, but you've also got this small village that you've come across. You've actually just stopped in to get a more accurate map of the local area, and in doing so you encountered that they were under siege by werewolves that had gone rampant throughout the area, and also that this town is under the effects of an anti-magic zone that stretches sort of maybe just under a mile out of the borders of this town. So it's been interesting. You guys came in, you fought a bunch of werewolves, you fought your way through the town, you saved most of the town folk. You found out from Gavin that there is a chaotic group called the Cult of the Void, which he has been tracking, that have led him to this area specifically, and they seem to have the ability to take away people's magic and also destroy, sort of be able to cast in an anti-magic zone of their own creation. So a lot of plates were spinning, but there was a few infected people that had to be dealt with, and now the party is finally all gathered as the town hall burns with the infected bodies in it. The party is gathered in a local tavern, trying to figure out what their next move is, and they've been given an updated map and told that Farmer's Rest, the place that they're going to look for the prince, is not too far, maybe half a day's travel, and they're probably looking at setting off in the morning. That was the plan. Unfortunately, Sarah found in the guts of one of these creatures a crown, and she and the party have identified it as most likely the crown of Prince Henry Renford. And Henry Renford is the very man they've come to save. So it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult to enact a rescue when you find pieces of someone potentially in a werewolf. So we'll see. Okay, we will see where we go from there and what the party's plans are. But in the meantime, do we want to get through some of these amazing wild magic surges that I've just seen?
All right, Tia. So walk us through the Underduck's wild magic.
Target's weapon cannot be altered by any non-magical means, so my Underduck doesn't have a weapon, which is fine. But the one that really tickles my fancy is target is obsessively protective of someone now standing nearby. My Underduck.
Tia, would you like to roll me a d4?
I sure would.
You just assume it's going to be you. No.
I got a 3. If you say Duran, okay. I am...
Okay. I didn't include Duran. This is interesting. Lucy?
Oh, shit. For real? Am I a Disney princess?
You are a Disney princess.
What's going on?
So don't get me wrong, the Underduck is still very much bonded with Sarah, but it's also going to bond with Lucy. We'll get to more on that in a minute. You also will find that the Underduck is unable to be polymorphed in any way, as its natural weapons are itself. So it's going to be immune to the polymorph effect. There we are. And
okay, so my wild magic is that any packs, pouches, or bags I carry double in volume. So I've got some super deep pockets.
Okay.
And each day, I can cause one foe to miss one attack. Which is pretty fucking good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Finally something nice.
Right.
Roll me 1d2.
Okay, 1d2 is 2.
Okay. If you see someone and they're within 30 feet of you and they hit with a roll, you can make them re-roll. Anything, even a crit.
Nice. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
All right. Also, we've got wild magic for Tool Squeal and for Lucy's Stag.
Lucy's
Thank
Stag.
you for that.
Okay.
All right.
This is what you get for sleeping through the whole day. A load of craziness to try and deal with. Right. Okay. So as we're looking up those, the party, you're gathered in a tavern that's. It's not particularly fantastic sort of tavern. You know, you're still in quite a poor part of the world, but things are certainly nicer here than a few other bits. Sort of you stayed in. It's certainly nicer than the small village you stayed in on the way in. It's a proper tavern. Calvin, there's the potential for work here if you wanted, but I think you kind of cottoned on pretty quickly that there's going to be difficulty getting these people to sort of celebrate and be jovial. A lot of their friends have just passed. It's more of a somber kind of scene, and that might be... I don't know, does Calvin know any sort of funeral dirges or anything of sort of a more sepulchral tone?
Yeah,
You are muted.
He knows an old standby, an old sing-along that many a Eider folk know. And he goes up there and pulls out his bandolier and looks out and is like, well, folks, I'd just like to take a moment for us to remember all those around us who lost their lives and maybe introduce who we are here. And he looks out and sort of motions towards Lucy and Sarah and goes, they're just a small town girls living in a lonely world. They took the midnight wagon going anywhere. Points to Curtis. He's just a city boy, born and raised in Southern Eider. He took the midnight wagon going anywhere. I'm just a singer in a smoky room with smell wine and cheap perfume. For a smile I will play the night. My songs go on and on and on and on. Strangers riding up and down the muddy trails, or shadows searching in the night.
I don't think I've ever been
Torch
through.
lights, people living to get farmers rest, hiding somewhere in the night, working hard to get my fill. Everybody wants a thrill, playing anything to roll the dice just one more time. Some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. Oh, the journey that never ends. The long march goes on and on and on.
If you don't give him like inspiration or something, I'm quitting the campaign.
Roll me a performance. But this is just to determine how amazing this is. It's like, it will be amazing regardless. I'm so impressed.
We got a sheet open.
I can't. Oh god, I was
That was
not
a
ready
thing
for
of beauty.
this. That was
And made
amazing.
my life.
A 21.
21.
Okay. On a 21, everyone in the tavern gets pretty slaughtered, and pretty much like this goes from being this really dour occasion where everyone's sort of haunted by the
Stuff on
ghosts
the table.
that literally, linger around them, to people celebrating the lives of those who were lost. It just, like, Calvin, it doesn't happen instantly, but Calvin, through the next few hours, gets people singing and dancing and talking, and there's a lot of tears, but a lot of people, instead of being really, really angry and upset about it, a lot of people come through with, you know, being grateful that they made it, thankful to you guys for having come along and helped them, because you've done a lot for this town, in all seriousness. And also, yeah, they start celebrating the lives of the people that were lost, and just, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment. It's really touching, and thank you, Calvin. Thank you. From me, from the world, from chat, from everyone. Just thank you.
Hashtag not a singer. It's karaoke. You just go out there and go all in. Both feet, man. Jump in with both feet.
No, I would rather face Loth in person than ever sing karaoke. I can't do it.
See, this is the true bravery of the Long March. Is all done for karaoke. So we're gonna gather sort of the party together in sort of one of the what was sort of a side room, like a quiet room, which has become Calvin's dressing room. Like he's backstage as you guys are chilling back there, and you guys have brought, you know, a little bit of food, and they decide to you know, they cook up a little bit of a feast. It's modest, it's meager, but it's more food than they really should be cooking. But that everyone agrees that they're going to do it this one time, and then everyone is just going to ration themselves and be really responsible and everything like that. But just tonight is a night where the guys and gals all need to celebrate, so they're going to do just that. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Please, all of the clips. This needs to be. Oh god.
Like I can write
Curtis
something.
like Curtis is like humming it afterwards to himself.
A catchy tune.
So, real quick, is that 3 more Wild Magic Surges I saw for Laurelania right there?
I
Me?
think it was those are the ones. No, those are the ones for.
Oh no, those I looked up for other people. Those
Yeah.
in order.
Yeah, I got
Jen
One was
and then
for
Lucy
one.
Lucy's stag. Yeah, one was for Lucy's stag.
Okay, right.
Wait, okay, now I'm confused. Tall Squeals is way up there.
Okay.
Yeah,
The one for
okay,
the stag is
just-
right above Tall Squid.
Yeah, so Jess, you want to read out
So-
what your stag got?
Sure. Target's weapon instills fear in him after each battle.
Okay.
So
you're. I'm going to say after. Right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. I got this.
consume
It's
that for a
fine.
minute.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's good. It's good. We're on this. The next one. Who's the next one for?
It's Tall Squeal, and it's like it's you know, my dream come true. any part of the target not covered by clothing turns bright orange. I now have like a ginger Hogzilla.
A giant ginger pig.
A giant orange pig.
The dream.
A giant ginger pig.
This just became an anime. Like,
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bard on a giant ginger pig. What more can I say? Skinny southern bard.
There is one in the
my
middle
God.
there. Who's the one in the middle for?
I'm not sure why that one is rolled.
Yeah.
Oh no! I accidentally rolled a D1000 instead of a D10000. So the 891 is.
Yeah, we're all caught up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. So, you guys are in this sort of side room, and it's, kind of become a party sort of house. It's the quieter room, it's backstage, but outside, people are really enjoying themselves. It's almost festive. There's still a lot of people who are sat there in tears, but everyone's hugging, everyone's holding each other. This community is sort of rallied together really hard. But you guys, the night dies down slightly, and you guys find yourself with some time alone together as all this chaos erupts. And the tavern owner comes over, this short, dumpy redhead with sort of like her hair scruffily pulled up, and she says, do you need any more drinks or anything?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Just a room for the night or someplace dry.
Of course. No, of course. Well, it's a bit cramped, but there's rooms upstairs. The room on the top floor. I figured I'd take you guys up there when you were ready. But in the meantime, I wanted to see how long you would be staying for. You're very much welcome here, all of you, for everything you've done.
I think our journey leads us onwards, ma'am. But we appreciate it. Maybe we can be back one day.
Of course. Well, I was just thinking that if there's anything else we could do to aid you on your travels, given everything you've done for the community, it would be our honor.
Sarah reaches into her gold pouch and takes out 10 gold and hands it to him. I don't think that gold can really buy a lot of food these days, but hopefully this helps you.
She takes it and hands it back and says, I can't.
Don't.
Please, listen. You're a sweet young thing, but you have to understand.
It's okay.
We're gold. It doesn't come down to coin. We're doing okay out here, believe it or not. Gold won't bring back those we lost. And, well, as much as... And she checks around to make sure that no one's sort of overhearing her. And we probably now have enough food to last us through the winter.
Right.
You understand. She looks really she doesn't want to say it, but it's a fact.
The reality is there's not as many mouths to feed. Calvin sort of looks over to her and he kind of is a little bit abashed, but he goes, those of y'all who are live and might need some healing, I can help you out, and I'm willing to work for what I'm about to ask for. I know you all were religious folk. The big man seemed to think so, and having a temple here. And I know the Raven Queen, while she's mainly about death, you wouldn't have happened to have any herbalists or alchemists around who might have some little bottled healing that we could barter for or work to For we just don't know what to expect up ahead on the road here down at Farmer's Rest.
Right. Are you looking for some tour guide or?
Healing potions, what I'm really looking for. I would hate to put any of y'all in more danger than you're already in. But if you know the area, maybe know a not as public way to skitter up on a Farmer's Rest, that would be certainly appreciated as well.
Farmer's Rest is a small settlement. It's nothing as large as this place. To find a way to sneak up on it, I mean, there aren't many hills or woodlands or anything around these parts, so
I
getting
figure
to it
farmland.
Exactly, so getting close to it. The thing I will tell you is this. A little while back, and I'm ashamed to say this, but my son and a few of the other young scamps in town decided that they'd try and sneak south to see what had happened to the villages, the towns that were now under this the free fields rules. So they snuck down there. They told us that they were approaching the town, and men came out of the grass. Not tall, sort of wavy grass. I'm talking grass like yay high. Just stood up, materialized out of nowhere. They were polite, they were authoritative. They didn't hurt any of the boys, but told them that they couldn't come any further without proper means or papers or documents. They don't allow trespassers.
They've been sent up there recently, man.
Oh, this was before. She sort of gestures to sort of like around the town, and this was a while back. No one's really tried it since. They're not aggressive, but they've never been aggressive towards us, and occasionally they even send us a small paltry amount of food. It's never much, but they come in, they never ask for coin in return. They just abide by their own business. There are not.
You know how many of them there were down there? Just a few?
That's the thing. They came out of nowhere. My son, he caught a glance at a couple of animals that were following them out. Creatures like squirrels and all manner of birds and small sort of rodent-like creatures. And they all seem to follow him like a pack. Not attacking him or anything, or harrying him along his journey, but they're changing folk.
We'll keep an eye out for them, man. Thank you for the heads up.
The only thing I'd say is none of them have come since what happened to the town. Oh, you mentioned healing potions. She leans in to sort of the group and sort of brings everyone close. Truth be told, we might have one or two. The people here, they're going to want to hold on to them, which is kind of pointless considering nothing like that works in town. I don't know if they're still any good, but I can rustle up one or two. Maybe enough for one each.
That would be very kind of you.
So Calvin looks at her and goes, well, I actually have something that might work here. Josh, because I assume that this is truly just bandages and stitches and stuff. I when we were buying equipment, I did buy 2 of those med kit things.
Ah.
I mean, so that's not magic based, right?
Yes.
So I looked at her and go, well, I don't want to leave you all empty-handed, and this is something that might actually come in handy. And he opens it up and shows her the bandages and stitches and, you know, sterile needles and things like that for, but, you know, for non-magical medical purposes.
I feel a lot better about it if we did a trade instead of just taking.
I agree. I definitely.
Wait here, just a moment. And she rushes out of the room. She's gone for a little, you know, couple of minutes, and she comes back with an elderly man who comes in. He's sort of almost. You're not sure if you hear the floorboards creak under his approach or if it's him creaking, but he comes in and I understand that you have something you wish to trade. And she nods enthusiastically, and this is the town's healer. Tom, would you be able to? And he comes over, and I have some potions and tinctures and that sort of thing, but none of it's any good at the moment. You have?
Yeah, I have these here medical kits that I brought with me up from the Freelands. They're not magical anyway, but that might be just the thing. Huh.
Well,
my audio is weird. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not hearing it on my end. And I'm on the master, so I think you're okay.
Yeah, I got two folks who are seeing it, but okay. So I look at him and I say, well, I've only got two of these, but if you've got something, how many healing potions can you spare?
He looks at the kit, and then he puts down sort of a doctor's bag, and he slides it over to you. You hear it sort of clink with glass bottles inside.
Well, he looks at it, and I mean, I'm sure whatever it is, Calvin says as well, isn't this just as fancy as a cockatrice on a cracker? And he looks like to admire the bag, and do you mind if I open her up here, old Tom?
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I
opens it up?
Have a look at the... And he reaches for sort of...
And I hand him over.
He picks it up and starts studying it. Sort of, he looks like he knows one of these. He's worked with one before. Inside, you find a crate of 8 basic healing potions.
8? Wow.
8. Yeah. You get the feeling this is his whole supply.
Well, Tom, I don't want to take everything. This field might disperse.
We could talk about could have, would have, would be, should have been. All I can do is act on what is. This, and he holds the healing kit sort of like up as this could actually help. And he sort of unpacks it and sort of like, there are bandages, scalpels, tongs, a number of things that I can use to actually benefit these folk, help them. And you've done so much for us. And he looks around and says, I'm not a godly man, per se. I'm not a devout man. I'm a man of reason, pragmatism. Even I understand folks like you. There's something about you. Where you arrived, the work that you do. I have a feeling 4 days are gone. We'll owe you more. I might not be around to repay you then. So don't argue. Take what you're given. Make good of it.
Yes, sir. sort of takes his hat off and sort of puts it aside and says, "I thank you, Tom, and we certainly will do our best to make sure these are used in a good and honorable way."
He smiles, sort of like a crooked smile, and, well, manners to boot as well. You're an odd bunch, but a fine.
Where is my underduck?
You were getting your underduck drunk. Your underduck is drunk in the corner.
I'm gonna like do the kid maneuver where I like slide underneath the table and then like crawl out the other side. Sarah's getting bored and antsy of this adult conversation, so she's gonna go start chasing her duck around.
He looks over to the corner where Sarah and the underduck begin to cause a little bit of chaos and feathers flying around, and just, as I said, a fine bunch. What's odd? And he turns and begins to head out the room, very
He is not wrong.
confused by that.
We also
not
have
wrong at all.
a viewer decision at this point, Josh. I should make you aware of.
Okay, fantastic. So, coming out of town, there is 8 magic healing potions, which won't work in town at the moment, but they do to all of you seem like they're not in a uniform bottle. They're sort of like a ragtag collection of glass vials and everything like that, but all roughly the same size and all look like the same liquid inside. But there is also, as you look around, you find in this bag, there's also one other thing. There's going to be one other potion in this bag. And chat, I'm going to leave it up to you. What is the final mystery potion that is included? It could be a potion, it could be a poison, it could be anything.
Yeah, so
mystery potion.
So non-standard, like whatever they want, like crazy.
Could be anything.
Josh, what have you done?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What have you done?
Where it's going to be like a
Going
nuke
for the
in a
full grab
bottle
bag
or
this
something
time.
ridiculous.
I was using the duck as an excuse to get away from everybody else. I actually want to quietly steal away to my room if I can, and I want to inspect that gem that was in the crown more.
Okay. As you have been given sort of like a space upstairs that you've been told sort of the attic has been made available to all of you. It covers the entire top floor, and that is just for you guys together. They've brought up a few bits from the car and put them up there. Duran has stayed down here, hasn't gone up to the room yet. He's just sat at the bar having a quiet drink. And people started trying to get him involved, and he very gruffly but politely declined, and is just sat quietly drinking. So the room is currently unoccupied. Give me a stealth check as you make your excuses. You are muted.
Looking for all of the buttons.
Look at the no! I rolled an 11, so did not go well for me. Or nat 1, I think. Oh no.
No, 7. Not quite as bad. So yeah, you can make your way upstairs, but the rest of the party you will notice, I believe, on 11, it not being anyone's passive. But Sarah makes her excuses to slink upstairs. It's mostly the duck is trying to get the duck to go up a flight of stairs. It just
Doesn't work out so well. What is that girl doing now?
I'm not sure.
Well, as long as she's not sneaking outside of town once again.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Probably.
as There's a moment of silence, and you just see a small puff of red feathers just come floating down after a big quack, and just feathers come floating down, and just. So, what are you guys talking about now that it's just the grown-ups in the room?
Now that the kids have gone away. So, Farmer's Rest. Then what?
We're gonna find out what's going on there.
Yeah, and it's certainly mysterious about that whole people coming up out of the grass, not hidden in the grass, but like invisible, standing around in the grass.
Yes,
that's going to get interesting. That's going to get real interesting.
Yeah. They might not be too friendly to us, if they know who we are.
Well, it sounds like they ain't very friendly to anybody.
That is true. DM question. Would I have any idea of how long it will take for my magic to come back once we get out of this zone?
DM
like, historically speaking.
What you understand, it should be instantaneous. However, you don't know too much about. You would know that there's there would have been places in your academy where you were taught that there were anti-magic zones. They were specifically like shelters. So, for example, if there was kind of like a bomb shelter, like if you were trying to hide from, an experiment that had gone terribly wrong, a wild magic sorcerer that had, set the whole building on fire or something like that, they were sheltered against the elements. They were also sheltered against magic. But you've been in one of them, stepped out, and been fine immediately. You know that all of that was created. You would be able to sort of understand how all of that magic worked, though, how the anti-magic field worked. You've never spent a really extended period in an anti-magic zone, and you've no idea how this was made. So in theory, if it works like the other one, you should be able to step across the threshold and that's it. It should all come flooding back. It will be uncomfortable. It's like if you've been sat and you haven't realized your leg's gone dead, and then you try and stand up, it's like that numb feeling. It'll take maybe a minute or two for your sensation to return, but it should be almost instantaneous.
Okay. Well, good news is, I think once we're out of this field, I should be back to normal, and Calvin, your magic should also work again, as well as anything else we have.
Well, that would certainly be nice.
Yes, very nice. I would definitely like to be useful again.
Plenty useful. But I think it is time to move on from this place.
Yes, I think so. We've done what we can here.
The people look happy, at least.
Happy as they can be, all things considered.
It's true, it's dying down, but there are still some people singing quiet songs of a lot of war songs being sung at the moment, but a lot of songs about with that kind of ilk of soldiers finding peace. They're not necessarily always spot on appropriate, but it's the closest thing. A lot of songs that have been written in the last 10 years have been about war and soldiers and stuff like that. And the songs that are about people finally coming to peace on the battlefield and finding sort of their way home and those sorts of things come up a lot because it's the only thing they have that sort of speaks of people passing on peacefully.
I think Curtis is somewhat caught up in the melancholy of the songs, and he's gonna reach into his pocket where he keeps his sending stone and says, "Excuse me, I'm gonna retire for the night."
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Suppose it might not be bad for all of us to do that. get ourselves an early start, yes? She'll look to
Now-
Calvin questioningly.
I mean, Calvin's still going to stay up, finish out the night. He starts playing a familiar tune. The dwarven lad, a soldier now, the ranks of death you may find. The bolts and spears may pierce my flesh, and the fire's red glow may blind me. Fear not, says he, for my wounds will heal, and Cuthbert's light may cure me. For Vandry cause I would give my life. In the ranks of death ye shall find me.
As you sing, there are two other fellows at the bar, one of whom is known to you, one of whom is not. Turn, and two of them come over, Duran and one other guy, and they pick up the tune as they know this song, as this song has quite a reputation amongst soldiers, fighting folk. And Calvin, they sing along quietly, and Duran looks at sort of the three of you standing there as everyone else has departed, and he says, "Wait here a moment." And he goes over to the bar, and he's standing there for quite some time, and he seems like he's giving the lady a really complicated drinks order, and he walks her through, and you see her sort of like look questioningly at him as she adds like things, and then he pulls out some matches, and you watch as he draws his knife, and he takes the hilt of his knife and crushes down sort of the tips of the matches and everything like that, and he finally comes over with 3 drinks and crushed powder and a few other bits, and the drinks look odd, like they haven't mixed entirely perfectly, and says, I don't do Tuscan fire whiskey here, but, well, puts it down, and he sprinkles some of the powder from the matches just on the top of the drinks, and then lights another match and drops it on the top, and the drinks burst into flames in the glasses, as he does like his own take on Tuscan fire whiskey, as it's not a lot of it's been made, so it's still bloody hard to come by, but there's already sort of homebrew recipes of how you can make it, and he holds up a glass for you guys in honor of a last.
Yeah, no. Calvin absolutely lights one up and raises his glass, and these guys aren't dwarves, are they?
No dwarves in town, from what you can tell. But they're not.
This isn't how the spell works, but I'm doing it anyway, so bear with me, Josh. He puts his hands up to each of the glasses, and as he clinks them, he casts tongues on the whiskey.
One work.
Dead magic zone.
Oh, dead magic zone. Never mind. I won't do that.
Yeah,
I'll light it up. I'll just light it up then, and because it won't work. But actually, I actually do know Dwarven, so because he knows a ton of languages, and so I'll sing it the next verse in the Dwarven while they sing it in common.
Duran will sing in Dwarven. Will he?
Oh, nice.
He knows Dwarven.
Duran is singing it. He knows the song. What?
Man.
Duran knows the song.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Duran's a
It's making me like this guy a lot.
You got to understand, like, songs like this are pretty much. Soldiers don't have, ways to contact home. They don't have like messaging services. Couriers cost an absolute fortune, and especially what you now know of couriers are very hard to come by at the moment, and a load of other things. I mean, if you have a good song that you like, you sing it often, you sing it sort of, you hold it close, you sing it in victory, you sing it in times of desperation. But it kind of gets you by. It reminds you of what you're fighting for, of where you're going, where you've been. And speaking of that, as Curtis is retiring for the night, Curtis, unfortunately, you will know that your sending stone won't work whilst you're in town. However, you could step out of town and...
Yeah, that's his plan. He's going to open up his window and jump out the window and walk outside of town in order for the stone to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you...
And I kind of take it in a hand and like hold it until the magic activates.
You're walking along and finally you come to a stop on the road and you see in front of you there is a large black feather that is just stuck into the ground. And you recall, as you watched Gavin leave town, this is the point he got to when he vanished entirely in a cloud of feathers. And as you step up to it, you step within sort of 5 feet of it, suddenly you feel stone sort of almost fizz in your hand. And you look at it and nothing's happened, it hasn't changed, it doesn't appear to be damaged, it just seems to fizz against your skin, and then the sensation just fades entirely and you feel it become enchanted.
I wait for like a call out, sort of like a hello.
There's a pause, and then after a little while, you suddenly hear, "Hello? Hello? Hello? Curtis?
Rosie. Yeah, it's me.
And you hear sort of, one moment, and you hear sort of like almost through her sort of a lot of commotion for a few moments, and then she finally, sorry, the neighbours over. I haven't heard from you in so long.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I've been real busy, you know. We're on this new task, and we can't let up. It's really important that we get the job done.
I understand. You well?
Well as can be. I'm with Calvin. He's well. Yeah, he sends his love, and there's a couple others with us. One of them's a young girl named Sarah. I think you'd like her a lot.
How young is she?
Oh, 15. 14.
Oh,
No,
goodness, she's out.
nothing like that. She's strong. You know, we met a legend the other day.
Met a legend?
Lord Hammer. Yeah.
I know that name.
The Undying Heroes.
The group that Calvin used to sing about.
That's the one.
You actually met one of them?
I think so. He seemed real. Seemed like a hero.
Wow. Where? There's a pause and... Sorry,
You know I can't say.
You think you'll be gone much longer?
I don't know. I don't know. A little while longer at least. For we're back. But I mean, just trying to keep them all safe, you know?
You always do. Just remember, I'm sure they're wonderful people, but not the only ones you have to look after.
I know. I'll be back as soon as I can, alright? But right now things are crazy and I'm trying my best here.
Just be careful. There's already
I will.
all coming from. Well, there's not anymore. There was talk from chaos happening elsewhere, but
It'll be fine. Calvin's here with me, like I say, and the others are well versed. There's even... I shouldn't say. But she's adept in different things. Arcane arts.
Oh! That'll be nice for Calvin to have someone to talk to about that.
Yeah. Anyway, I've already got to go. It's
Curtis.
Yeah.
Come home soon.
I will. And I'll cut the connection on the sending stone. Seven years. And I'm gonna head back to my room.
It's a lonely walk back. And the second you walk, you step sort of 5 feet back towards town, and you feel it grow hot for a split second, and a small wisp of blackness comes from the stone as you put it away, and you sense its magic vanish in a flash. You begin to head on back, and we'll cut away from this scene to a few moments back in time as Sarah has gone upstairs to examine a gem, and you're up in the privacy of your room, and you have this gem, and your underduck, which is running riot around the room and causing a bit of chaos. But what is Sarah doing specifically?
Once she
sorry.
realizes the gem obviously isn't going to work, she doesn't really want to leave again. What was it about the gem that I had noticed last time? There was no feeling to it or anything. Could I sense that it was magical, or was it just a gem?
You know it's magical. You don't know what it does. You don't know anything about magic per se. But it fell out of somewhere. Almost seemed like it fell out of the sky.
Sarah is going to pray to the Raven Queen after her time with Gavin, and just kind of spend that before she goes to bed, just trying to remember some, if any, prayers she's ever heard.
Roll me a religion check.
Ooh, that is not. It's from the heart. It's from the heart, but it doesn't have any ecclesiastical meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get together and you sort of move around and it's
not sharing a room
No,
with Duran, am I?
You will be, but no one is up here.
Okay.
You're alone.
Well, she would just kind of attempt her first stumbles through a prayer, and then probably would go to sleep pretty early. Sarah's kind of a early to sleep, early to rise kind of gal.
Okay. You stumble through this prayer, but you don't have any confirmation that what you're doing is right, is wrong, or anything to go on at all. But there's you don't feel any connection per se, in a literal sense. But whatever it, conjures up for Sarah herself personally, it's up to you. But you can't. There's no that connection, that surge of energy. You don't hear any voices answer your prayers. So it's up to you how Sarah
I feel like
takes
Sarah would. No, she would. I don't think it would affect her because she knows she's in an anti-magic zone, and also that Gavin had told her that things had gone silent. And I think that Sarah's in a really weird place mentally right now, so she'd kind of probably just stare at the ceiling until sleep took her, kind of pondering over everything that's happening in her life.
Okay. So, back downstairs, Calvin and Lucy, you guys are sat around. The festivities are continuing. Duran is drinking with Calvin. Lucy, what are you doing whilst all of this is going on?
Lucy's been kind of listening along, humming a little bit with the tune after she's kind of caught on to it. But after a bit of time and everyone seems to be kind of buried in their song, she'll head upstairs to check on Sarah and see if she's gotten into further trouble or what's going on up there.
What's Lucy's mood at the moment?
A bit better than before. She's kind of shaken off, or at least seems to have shaken off, the trauma of the earlier scenario with the couple that they had to deal with. A little melancholy, but not quite so much in shock. It's quiet, a bit quiet, introspective.
As you head up the stairs, there's a window sort of at the turn in the stairs where the stairs double back on themselves. And as you come up, it's storm clouds in the distance and thunder that sort of rolls in, and flashes of lightning that light up the sky far away. But you look out into the town for a split second. There is a huge stag in the middle of the street, and it is drenched in blood, absolutely covered. Its antlers dripping, it's sort of down its neck, its sides, its flanks, its legs, its hooves seem to be covered, and it is standing sort of side on, almost like a portrait, looking out down the street. And as you get to the window, you look at it, you see its head turns as if it could see you and looks up.
What in the world? She'll go to the window and open it if necessary and just kind of lean out.
Lean out, and there is a stag. It's maybe sort of 40, 50 feet down the road, sort of through the main road that runs sort of north to south through the town, and it's just standing there.
Still here, then. It's odd. Well... She'll close the window and briefly look in on Sarah just to see if she's gone to sleep. But if she looks like she's gone to bed for the night, she'll double back out and head into the street.
Yeah, she's KO.
Alright. So she knows she's alright, so she'll head on down.
You head back down to have a look out the windows, sort of you walk down past the stairs. Stag is gone.
Okay. It's not weird or anything. wild stag just standing around in town. That's totally normal. No idea what's going on. Perhaps a bit much of that fire whiskey. A bit much of anything.
Indeed.
So she'll just look out the window one last time, just kind of like daring the sight before her to show itself again, and if nothing happens, she'll head into the room to just take some time studying, writing out just some of the happenings in her journal for a bit to recount and just sort of process what has been happening, and just writing out details here and there before she finally just goes to sleep.
Okay. As Lucy heads up to sleep, Calvin, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. He's not terrible at con, but he is not great at it. Constitution saving throw. Ooh, that's a 17.
Okay. Curtis, as you return, Calvin is drinking Duran under the table. They are both still chatting about sort of songs of trying to remember. Calvin's trying to argue with Duran about the words to an old war song, but Duran is losing the argument badly, and he knows it. He's not being a jerk about it. He's holding on to the bar, though. So he's got one hand clenched, white knuckle grip to the bar. He's only using two of the legs of the stool. He looks like he's rocking back, and not intentionally. And he looks over to Curtis and nods. You notice his head keeps nodding for quite some time. He looks at you. He does the Will special. You know, when you're drunk and you just.
Yeah.
That's for anyone watching off street. This is Will impression. When Will's drunk, Will just sits back and he just he's just so happy. He's just content.
Yeah, I see them, but I gotta head to my room and I'm gonna get some sleep. It's probably quite late by this point, and yeah.
Okay, Curtis retires. Calvin, it's just you and Duran.
Well, I know you've got your problems with Sarah. What's your story? Everyone's got one.
He glances around and rocks forward. He says, I used to be an adventurer like you. And then he sort of shrugs and he leans on the bar and his head hangs and he sort of has a half-drunk glass of this abomination that is in front of him, and he reaches down and necks most of what's left in there, and he's now just sort of holding some of the last dregs of this drink. You can see like crushed up bits of the match that haven't burnt away in the bottom to sort of give it that sharpness. And I don't want to bring the whole tone of the bar down. It's been a good night. Thanks to you.
Well, we can save it for another time.
What about you?
Huh? Just always wanting something bigger, you know? Song ain't all wrong. I was the one who didn't quite fit in. Heck, I could play and sing with the best of them since the time I could walk. Maybe my parents tell me it was even a little bit before. And my dad, he was Pappy. He was a cobbler, went around fixing shoes, and usually while he was fixing, I would play a little tune for whoever was ever waiting to get their shoes done. And it was something to do and kept me out of trouble. And usually got a little bigger tip from my dad.
Yeah, he holds his hands up and he says, "Oh, I'm not denying that. It's good, honest work."
So wasn't long before I was having the tavern keepers come ask me to play the whole day for them, and then when I was getting us room and board, so we weren't having to sleep under the trees. And then it was my pappy doing cobbling in the corner of the tavern instead of us doing it in the marketplace, because I was drawing bigger crowds than he was. Jews, man, gotta have them.
That's a fair point. Raises a glass. Gee. Heck, it's none of my business, but is he still plying his trade?
Oh, yeah. He's still going around. He doesn't travel quite as far anymore. I mean, well, the reality is, most of the boots went marching, but they're coming back now. And
I imagine a lot of the amount of soldiers I met barefoot lost their boots in the mud in the middle of a scrap.
Lost their boot, then lost their foot.
Yeah.
But leather ain't easy to come by, and it's getting more and more expensive out. No, I send back everything I can. That's what you do. Hoping to make it big, keep them comfortable, find a nice, cushy job, maybe find me someone to settle down with.
That's the dream, eh?
Hey, after what the hell that this whole country, continent, whatever you want to call it, this land has been through. But you got to start somewhere. You don't start putting down a foundation, you're never going to be able to build a building, much less a castle or a tower or a coalition of fields or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the other half live.
I ain't so concerned about... Ooh.
No, go on.
Just saying I'm not so concerned about living like the other half as much as just living some. Everyone's been dying. Our whole world's been about dying for so long. First in a war, then with a plague, then with a starvation. Just normal. I just want it back to... Don't you ever just long for the days when nothing happened? When you could just sit on the back, right?
He reaches over the bar and sort of fumbles and just drops his whole coin purse on the bar and grabs a really cheap, nasty bottle of whiskey and sort of looks apologetically to the barmaid. Could you count out? And she nods, and as he reaches, he winces incredibly as he picks it up with his bad arm, as there has been no healing, and he was shot through the arm by a bow. So he's still, you notice, like he's still bandaged up, but he gets the bottle down, uncorks it, and pours you a drink.
Hey, tell you what, nothing better than walking under the stars and drinking. Let's you and I head out of town. I'll take care of that for you.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Now that's something I can do.
Oh my god, yeah, 25. Yeah. He laughs and nods like pours you a glass, but he doesn't refill his glass. He just takes a swig from the bottle and nods. And you guys head out, and you make your way sort of through town. You guys don't see anything wandering the streets or anything of the sort. It's all quiet out. There is the burning building behind you as you walk down the street, which is of the town hall. But you get to the edge of the anti-magic zone, and you're now standing.
Thank you, Win.
You get to the edge of the wild magic zone, and he sort of steps out. Doesn't seem to notice if the magic has returned, but you feel it almost instantaneously. It's like you've got like dead everything, pins and needles everywhere, and then suddenly you step out, and all the blood rushes back, and it's actually a little painful, but it's not. It's that horrible sort of like, I need to get some blood working again. And
yeah. And how bad does this look? I mean, is it really bad? I mean, how good of a shot did she get on him?
Give me a medicine check.
Medicine check. Ooh, that's a nat 1.
You've no idea. It's a mess. You know he's
it's night, yeah.
Yeah, there's fresh blood because he's been moving around. He doesn't seem to realize quite the extent of it, and and you sort of like poke, and you accidentally sort of like, you know, sort of catch your bandage, and sort of as you pull it to one side, your nail catches against his skin slightly, and he's just.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Calvin, hey, I know a thing or two about torture. You're doing a wonderful job back there. Fuck.
Shut up. And I do 14 points of healing on him.
You notice, like, the second the healing starts, he winces, his shoulder tenses, fresh blood comes to the surface, and he just tilts the bottle back. And you notice, like with the water cooler with bubbles sort of rising. Yeah, it's that kind of sight as he starts drinking heavily.
Baby, stop squirming around like a toad in a sausage case and let me do my work.
He says, a toad?
Yeah. Squirming like a frog in a sausage casing. Sausage skin.
No. A toad. He points. There is a giant toad approaching you.
Oh, shit. There's a toad.
There totally is.
Yeah, it totally is a toad. Totally. That's probably not a good thing. How close is it to us? Those things can hop pretty far.
Yeah, it's not too close. It's, you know, it's there. It's moving up towards you a little cautiously. This is a big thing, but I mean, it's just moving along, and it's very strange to sort of see a creature of this size, a creature that roll me a dex save. Just as you're thinking all of this, suddenly it's much, much closer, as this toad is going to launch itself at the pair of you.
Oh yeah, because they jump.
They move bloody quick.
Oh, that's a 9.
That's a 12. This thing is going to launch itself at the pair of you. Now, Dryan is pretty sloshed. He actually makes it, but he's going to need to make another one to see if he stays on his feet. As the ground is slick and... Yeah. Oh, down, and that 20
he drunken masters his way out. It literally like staggers to one side, and as he does, it positions himself between you and the toad. You notice that he goes to draw his sword and winces as you notice like his arm, his shoulder's still hurting, and he manages to draw his blade in one hand, and he has the bottle in the other hand, which he's holding sort of down so he doesn't spill any whiskey, but as sort of like a bludgeoning weapon. So, give me just a quick initiative, buddy.
Okie dokie, here we are. This is happening. That is 12.
Okay. So, going first is Duran, then the Toad, and then a different Calvin. So he's going to make an attack at this Toad. Miss once. He'll hit with the second one. The second one, he just clocks it with the bottle, and you see suddenly whiskey just goes flying out, and he very loudly just, for fuck's sake, smacks this thing sort of like in the does that have like a snout or a mouth or a
big froggy lips.
Pops it on the nose, whatever it's got. Yeah, big froggy lips. Yeah. He smashes it in the face, and then sort of brings it back and just swigs from it as he stumbles back a few steps. The Toad is going to jump at Calvin. Calvin, make me a dex save at disadvantage as you are prone.
Dex save at disadvantage. That's 15.
Okay. Oh yeah, damn. Okay, so this thing hops at you, and you manage to roll to one side, and it's going to lash its tongue out at our dear friend Duran, and miss. And you watch as this thing launches itself at you, and this huge tongue sort of comes out like a whip crack and just slices through the air. And you see Duran literally just doesn't flinch. It just comes too short, but like spittle just across his face, and he just... The fuck is going on? Taking it to Calvin's turn. Calvin, you have magic again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeehaw. It's been a long time since I've had me some good old frog legs. So, watch this. This is going to be better than a unicorn with a ukulele. And he casts hideous laughter on the frog.
Oh my god.
It's a DC 16 saving throw. Wisdom. How wise is that frog?
It rolled a 3 with a -2. It begins to ribbit uncontrollably.
Yep. You just prone, incapacitated. Yeah, we've got laughing. Now see, this is when this gets really fun. And I guess that's all my turn. Unless can I go ahead and prepare something for next time?
Yeah, sure.
Because in the greatest drunken stories of all time, you have to do the crazy thing. Calvin's like, okay, find me something solid. As I pull out a tube of sovereign glue.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Choose young men, a giant laughing toad, and sovereign glue. What could go wrong?
I've watched this before.
Duran walks over to a fallen tree. Duran fails his wisdom saving throw against laughing. He's not compelled to laugh. But my god, is he laughing? My god, is he laughing? And he staggers and just reaches over and begins to roll like this huge log over, which he's gonna make an athletics check to do. He's actually a pretty strong dude, so let's have a... On a 16, yeah, he rolls it over towards you, and it just comes over. You notice as you pull out the sovereign glue, it says hazardous to the environment. There's a picture of a frog on there with a line with an X through it, just to let you know that this is yeah.
Calvin would like to take his turn to glue the frog to the log.
Okay, right. It gets one more chance before then.
Oh, that's right. It does. It does have a chance.
To no, on a 5, it's most definitely not going to stop laughing.
Just you wait and see how good this is going to be. As Calvin drunkenly staggers over, this is going to be like better than I can. This is going to be stranger than a badger with bat wings. I'm gonna glue the frog to the log on the frog in the log. Yeah, the bump on the log on the frog and the hole in the well. Yeah.
Give me an athletics check. Just to do this. Yeah.
Not acrobatics. I can't like parkour this.
He's no. But he's going to. Duran is going to give you some assistance.
Oh, so advantage. Is that advantage?
Yeah. He'll give you advantage.
Oh yeah.
My God. Dirty 20.
Wow.
So as you come over together, you two pick up this frog, which keeps ribbiting, and you're almost sort of like sovereign glue.
Don't let him hear you. Wait. It's like moving a couch. It's like you get a little left, go to the right. Get that web foot over there. Pivot.
And you manage to ribbit. And you manage to get this frog aligned, and then pull back as the frog is pressed against this. The frog is going to see if it can. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to let him. The frog tries to jump forward. Have you ever seen the old traditional caber toss?
Yes.
When you toss, right, the frog tries to jump. The weight of the log that's attached to it suddenly tilts it mid-air. The other end of the log digs into the muddy ground, and the frog is now upside down, stuck on a log which is buried in the dirt, basically making swimming motions directly down, facing the floor, ribbiting and laughing at the same time, as you've mounted a giant frog outside the town. Duran might have to start making death saving throws, because he is on the floor hissing himself laughing. He's spilt whiskey everywhere. He's crying with laughter.
Wait, Calvin is just as drunk, lying on his back, watching the frog on the log in the air, trying to swim, and is like, I can make this even better, and cast fairy fire on it, so now throws glitter up in the air on it. It's a froggy firework, I tell you.
Duran howls with laughter, looking at this spectacle. There's just huge, ridiculous sort of flapping of arms and legs and everything like that. And there's sort of fireworks, there's lights, there's spectacles, there's sounds. It's just this is a college drunken prank that's just gone.
Oh, that's gone oh so right. It's gone oh so right. And I look at him and I go, you know what I can do now? I can cast tongues and start laughing again. And yeah, we'll probably stay out there till morning laughing. And curing wounds, casting spells, making sure the frog keeps laughing. I've got hold person just in case. Yeah, we can keep this going on all night long. As long as the whiskey lasts, we're out in the mud watching the frog fireworks.
Oh my
Okay.
lord.
Duran will eventually sober up, and if need be, he will carry you back. Sort of not like full-on fireman's carry you, but it'll have sort of like you over.
I
his
want those
shoulder.
legs for the morning for breakfast.
He's like, we'll get you the legs. We'll get you the legs, and he carries you back, and you guys come in just, and like people are passed out all over the tavern. And
He's like,
he comes.
doing. This is my creeping music. It's my sneaking music. I use it when I'm sneaking.
As they come in, Duran goes and finds a booth and sits down and just says, "I need to sleep. I'm a lay down."
Well, I wasn't expecting to use up any spells. I guess I need to sleep too.
No.
Oh, I snorted.
You yeah. I'm
gonna
lay down.
ding ding ding, like literally head on his.
Calvin Duran puts a hand on your shoulder, and you hear him start speaking, and he says, "This reminds me of a friend I had back in the day. We used to go on all sorts of crazy adventures together. There was one time when..." You don't hear the end of the story as Calvin, you pass out, and shortly after Duran's sort of sold his tale to probably no one who's paying any attention.
The frog.
He passes out in the booth next to you, and morning comes for everyone. You guys can all take a long rest and relax as things are good. As time sort of comes, morning comes. Sarah and Curtis, you guys are up early. Calvin and Duran are dead to the world right now. But yeah, the rest of the party, you guys wake up.
Are they in different rooms?
Yeah.
We're
No,
in
they
the
didn't
booth
make it upstairs. They're in
downstairs.
the bar. Everyone else
Oh,
is
they're
in the same-
downstairs?
Yeah, they didn't make it upstairs. They're in a booth downstairs, just passed out.
There's a very
wanna
weird
try.
scrawled note. There's a weird
Sober
scrawled note that you can barely maybe make out that says "frog legs on the log breakfast."
And underneath, in different handwriting, it just says "spawned outside town." Ha.
So Lucy will read that aloud to the group.
Duran doesn't respond.
While she's
Duran-
doing that, I want to try and take one of Calvin's instruments while he's sleeping, just like...
roll me a sleight of hand. On a 12,
It's probably what?
you...
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Unless someone stops her, Sarah, you can take... what instruments does Calvin have?
Oh, I've got dulcimers. I've got a drum.
Oh, the drum!
You take the drum.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm sure you saw the drum. Yeah, it's like a nice little setup. Yeah, it's like bongos. It's definitely like bongos.
Sarah goes to town.
Apparently they were out on a drunken binge last night.
Yeah, sort of give them both a shove.
Duran wakes up, grabs a bowl, holds it to like he might be sick, and you see him sort of like, no, not today, no. And like, you see him like sweat glistening on his face. He's just like, no. He pulls himself up, and he looks at all of you like any one of you are game for like cooking over the fire. He looks fucking so miserable first thing in the morning.
You probably
Can I roll a performance check to see if I can actually do anything with it?
You can, yeah.
Oh wait, that's persuasion.
I imagine that must feel great to Duran's head right now.
Revenge is sweet. How's this for torture, asshole?
On a 20, you play loud enough that you wake up everyone in the tavern. You are the least popular person that you've ever been, Sarah.
Oh no.
I will kind of like put the drum beside Calvin's head and just kind of
as you put down
and walk back and
there's some
I'm
noise
out of
that comes
here.
as you come, like, put the drum down, you back away, there's some noise from the stairs, and a face that looks familiar to you, but with pouty, sort of duck-like lips, just pokes its head round the bottom of the stairs. Its feathers are, like, ruffled up and sort of, like, and it looks at you and just says, quack! And then it storms upstairs, pissed off, because you've woken up to a hungover duck. You got your duck drunk.
Incredible.
What do you guys do?
Well, really?
Calvin, are you gonna be okay?
Oh yeah. No, but swear to God, there's a giant toad glued to a log on a stake outside.
So we got
give me some breakfast then.
Yes, we've got your note. Thank you for that.
I'm not hungry though, because I can't be hungry with hit points.
You can't. You gotta do a morning workout.
But yeah, no. Stuck behind my sort of muddy face and ear, can I say there's the raven feather?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is that?
You know what?
It was the big guys.
You got the hat, so you can have like the big black raven feather coming out of the hat. Yeah.
It was the big guys. I think I need to try to work some of this off so I can eat. And didn't you say you had like a book or something? Can you tell me what I should go do?
Well, yes, I suppose. She'll pull out the book and just kind of flip through to a page and
page
find a
23.
workout.
Yeah. I'll be right back. And he stumbles outside and starts doing calisthenics. Because I need to do calisthenics until I lose a hit point. So I can eat.
Duran looks at the page, looks at Calvin. Oh, wait up. He stomps out with Calvin to come work out with you. It's always good to have a partner who's suffering just as much as you to help you through.
Well,
at the beginning of my other,
she calls out.
the beginning of my other magic surge begins.
Yeah. As you begin to, like, Duran, it just has like a cart that he's just lifting up and putting down and just lifting up and working out as you guys work out together.
Calvin can't do that. He's only got an 8 strength, so he's just getting started.
Oh, no. You do that. Duran is right beside you, and he's just like, no. Like, come on.
Oh,
push.
I got the trainer now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we've got my other magic surge that has to happen over the course of a while. Do you remember?
Yeah, you get swole. You double in. I think you double
twice my normal. Inflate to twice my normal volume.
Yeah, so we're having this as Calvin's going to start bulking up. So you start lifting, and you're not going to see it immediately, but after a few rests, you might go up a strength point or two. You begin to lift together, and he gives you loads of advice that would be really helpful, but he leaves big bits out because he's like trying to hold back a sick burp or just
on a D4, I puke 3 times during the workout.
Duran is just like every now and again you notice he gulps as he keeps it down, but not pleasantly. Just and after a little while, some people come back into town with a log carried over their shoulders with a giant frog that is still sort of moving around, but they've lashed it to the log to stop its legs from flailing around. But it appears not to be able to get free, and they're carrying it towards.
Fresh. He just sort of says it goes by. Save me a leg.
Yeah. As for breakfast, you guys are having frog. How's everyone feel about that? This is a bloody
Frog's
lot.
delicious.
There's a bloody.
Yeah, it tastes like chicken.
Lucy is
It's food. I'm pretty sure no one's complaining.
Tastes like underdog.
Yeah, tastes like underdog.
Don't even joke about that. Don't even.
Nope. Lucy's going hungry. She looks a little sick just looking at it, to be quite honest.
It's good to me.
You never had duck before.
Well,
Lucy, you have to eat something to keep your strength up.
Yeah, you should
If
eat
you
some.
don't, then you just throw it away.
Lucy, you get a doggy bag.
Yeah.
And make sure that you've got some frog. But yeah,
Save that for later.
Just pretend that it's chicken. Just pretend it's chicken. That won't be a problem. You just eat it. Close your eyes. It makes it a lot easier. Trust me, the stuff that my mum used to make was quite something.
What, a frog?
Well,
Well, some nights we wouldn't eat it all.
the barmaid comes over to you and just. She looks a little worse for wear. She probably partook in the festivities a little more than is common. She says, "Are you? I'm okay."
Good morning. How you feeling?
Sarah, quiet it,
What?
dear. Everybody's got a bit of a headache right now for some strange reason.
No.
It was quite a
Daughter
celebration.
said that
last night.
hangovers are for sissies.
The barmaid
That's
gives
because
her
he
a
was probably always
scolding
drunk.
look and says, "Right, well, will you be heading off or
Yes, I rather think we will.
recover?" Okay. She nods and there's no sort of like, she just, okay. And she goes and sits on this side of the bar, on your side of the bar, just so she can sit down and gropes helplessly for like a big pitcher of water, sits it in front of her and just begins to sip gingerly from it as everyone is recovering. A few people sort of wish you well, but people are very hungover.
It's time to get on the road when Calvin's ready.
Okay.
Yes, when will he be done with whatever he's doing?
I think that he might need a little bit. He seems a little green around the gills, if you know what I mean.
That is a way to put it.
Calvin, you've just finished a hearty meal. Duran is sort of like trying again to keep it all down. Is doing okay. Just,
A cursed magic item!
That's what you get for messing with a hangover, folks.
Fuck.
Is it for
What do I roll? Yeah, what do I roll?
D25, I believe. D25.
Oh no.
Oh, sorry, more like a D30.
Oh lord.
Last
No
night?
one help us.
Slash.
Yeah.
Uh,
Be 7.
18.
27.
Oh, those get worse as they get higher.
Oh, that's
This is-
lovely.
The
That's
flute of
fucking
foul
lovely.
phantoms, which is a carved bone flute that, when played, summons 1d8 penguin ghosts. They are loud and they waddle. around, making a lot of commotion while being 100% incorporeal. They cannot be killed, and for each minute played, the flute will summon 1d8 more penguins. Having played it once, the character feels a strong urge to play it again and again. It's an addiction. The phantom stays for X minutes after the music is stopped, where X are the number of penguins. This is by Nivint and Nicholas, the artist here.
It is the
God.
It is the toy an uncle gives to his nephew or niece
Yeah,
to
on
annoy
Christmas.
his sister.
And it mysteriously goes missing after Christmas, yeah.
It's gonna summon
Penguins and
underducks.
underducks. Do they summon underducks? Please, yes. Oh my loss! This is the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
That's not true.
It's not. It's really not.
It is the worst child's toy ever.
It's actually the worst.
It makes noise and it can't be stopped. There are no batteries to take out.
Oh God.
Yeah. I have an army of underducks by the time they find me. Then I'm just. Doodle-doo-doo-doo.
You can move through them. They are loud and they are annoying. Before you are literally driven from this tavern and possibly the town and surrounding countryside, do you guys depart?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Josh, we can stay another day at the tavern if you'd like. I know how much you enjoy us when you do that.
You notice the smell of burning, and suddenly there is a panic as...
Can we leave without burning this one down?
Yeah, sure. You hear rumbling, and a giant tree begins to materialize.
Damn it!
No, you guys leave the tavern, but it's full of it's full of incorporeal underducks. Which,
We
as soon as
literally-
you leave, they come rushing down the stairs, and you hear chaos.
It's like the bit in Jurassic Park 3 where Sam Neill is like, run.
You see like the door handle
dying.
rattle, and then like it just slowly turns.
Oh God.
It just- As you
Did we
guys
really ruin another tavern? Is it like now haunted with underducks? It's like the haunted underduck tavern.
It was a
So it's not the Underduck Army Tavern.
so yeah. We're gonna entirely play this along because yes, you're in an anti-magic zone, but
Of
I
course.
will let one slide. I will let one slide. As you guys,
It's worth it.
it's worth it to drive you guys out of this tavern. As you get out onto your cart and take off, heading south out of town with a new map. Who's driving this thing? As Calvin was driving last time, and
Well, I'm on tall squeal. I'm on my ginger pig.
exactly. So
I'll try.
I think I have a stag that's
Nope.
gonna hang out with us. That I'm still
probably
Or is he like?
sure.
Is he a peer?
Or is he?
It's Racer X, man. It's like whenever you like with old speed racers, like Racer X, he shows up when you need him.
He just shows up when I need him. I love it. Oh.
you just hear the mysterious stranger sound, and suddenly he's there.
10.
On a 10, you don't see the deer. You
Okay.
don't see the stag anyway. As you take off, you guys take off on this journey, and we're gonna cut through as you are making your way through the various terrain, which is now a lot easier to traverse as you're on the main road that runs sort of north to south through this territory, and you make your way down towards the what you think is the border, but you don't know how close. Like the border will vary on different maps because it's a new border, and no one's really sure where it seems to end. But there seems to be an understanding that surrounding the territory of the northernmost territory of Farmer's Rest, that is sort of the border. But you don't have the the deeds to the land or know how much has actually been claimed. So you're kind of coming up. There's also no like established checkpoints or anything like that. You're just coming towards the end of this kingdom and the beginning of the next one. Now, Curtis and Calvin, in fact, all of you will know, having travelled, from kingdom to kingdom, that kingdoms like Breckendale. Breckendale's border is pretty much walled, secured, has regular checkpoints. They do searches. It's it's hardcore. It's going into Elysium. There are military checkpoints and stuff like that, but mostly they're by mercenary companies that are hired. A lot of bandits and stuff, and people making you pay tolls and stuff to get from kingdom to kingdom. There's a lot of different ways. You've never come across literally walking into another kingdom completely unopposed. It's an odd sensation. But in the
Border
distance,
security is loose around here.
yeah, in the distance, you can see smoke is rising from what looks to be a small settlement.
Good smoke or bad smoke?
Give me a perception check, because you're still some ways off.
We just burned down a tavern smoke? Or...
yeah. The Pebble 5!
That tavern.
Oh no.
Perception check.
That would
for
have been
you.
the worst.
Is it 24?
24?
Nice.
Bad
See
smoke.
everything.
Bad smoke. In fact, you can see that the buildings look to be... some of the buildings looks smaller. You notice that there should be more buildings, and you can see smoke rising from where some of those buildings should be. However, there are still some structures that are standing, and you can't actually make out any fire. It looks like whatever this is, it's old. It's an old flames that are sort of still choking the air. There's sort of black smoke rising up in a column, but it's thinned somewhat. It's not still, it's not recent.
Right.
It's still, polluting the air around it, though. You don't see anything surrounding you. However, as you rolled a, what was your roll? It was a
24.
Yeah, 24. You notice that there are birds circling above. They look like they could be vultures or scavengers or something like that that are sort of over, that they generally, less so in the war, but you've seen them before in signs of, a big fight or a massacre. Birds are generally drawn to the area, carrion and that sort of thing. You will also see that you are being followed by a stag, though Lucy hasn't spotted it.
Yeah, first thing first, there's smoke there. Looks like a lot of buildings burned down, and there's carrion crows overhead, so we've got some dead in there, as we suspected. And also there's that your stag is following us. Lucy, I don't know why it's doing that, but it is.
My stag?
Lucy, as he points it out, there was a stag
It's definitely a stag.
200 feet back that is just making its way, meandering along, keeping pace with you.
I have no idea why that thing is following me, but it's been helpful
because you're
so
magic.
far. So, well,
We're gonna want to be careful going in case there are any more of those creatures. But like the old woman said, there's no strangers coming out of the grass yet, so maybe they're dead or left.
we can hope so.
Worse.
Keep a weather eye, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's try and find the prince. Let's find if he's alive. And if he's dead, let's try and get something to identify him. So we can
Yes.
prove it to Stavros that he's gone.
Good plan.
You
Right.
guys make your way up, and we're going to be coming up on... let's open this and share it with you guys. On this.
Right-click share sheet.
So I had to find it. There we go. Share sheet. There you are.
Ooh. Let me,
Fancy.
Noise.
The surrounding buildings look like they're burnt out and have been sort of have kind of vanished from the local surrounding area, burnt to their foundations or been smashed almost to rubble. But in the center, in this crossroads, there is a huge pile of what you can make out to be bodies that are piled high and choked with smoke. You can see that there are sort of things protruding out like spears, what look to be sort of swords and weapons have been tossed on as well. But there's quite a few creatures, including some much larger than just humans. Looks like horses too have been chucked in. However, there is also a carriage. There is a very, very luxurious carriage. It is sort of gilded to a degree, but you can see that it was covered. It seems to have, you know how like what were they called? Old buffalo traders with the big sort of canopy that goes over. Yeah, one of those that was sort of attached to the outside. That is, you can see like whether sort of it's been custom put over the back of sort of a very nice noble's wagon, and it's been torn apart. And sort of the whole canopy is sort of fallen off to one side, revealing it to actually be of much nicer origins than what it would probably have travelled here under the guise of.
I pointed out, that must be the princess. He was definitely here.
I think so.
That'd be fancy kind of guy to have a carriage like that. Someone must have piled all these bodies up. Bodies don't just pile themselves up, right? Someone was here.
Yes, the question is how long ago? Should we have a look about?
Yeah, let's check the bodies out. That'll tell us how long it's, they've been dead.
What if they're contagious? What if they died because they got sick? Don't you know about the Black Death? You go watch over there. Well,
from everything we've heard, it seems like they were killed in attacks just like the last villages. That was the report from the messenger, and it was what was at that village, so seems more likely. I mean,
kind of like peers at the bodies from far away.
Yeah, you guys are still like 200 feet out of the town, but sort of coming in. How are you approaching this settlement? Are you sort of just riding up?
on the western side now?
Yeah, for the purposes of this, you'll be coming
over the west. Yep. Well, I mean, this.
If I could, I will call up, or I don't know if it may actually take too long, but I was gonna say I could summon up my cat now that we're well out of the non-magic area and send him in there to have a look around.
Well, we've waited weeks to get here,
yeah,
so
it doesn't look like anybody's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's in there, he's probably dead.
Right.
So 10 minutes won't change that.
All right, give me just a few moments, and I shall get Rick to have a look inside for us. If something is not quite right, we'll know before we see. We have to go in ourselves. So I'll settle down
Right,
and
then.
just quickly sketch out a few things on the bottom of the wagon that we're traveling in the back. Just kind of sketch out a circle and do the summoning ritual to call forth Sir Richard.
Okay. You can indeed summon forth Sir Richard. He's comes out of sort of thin air and makes a meowing sound, and then you see his head stand on end. He sort of gets a panicked look and makes a hissing sound, and sort of like you realize Sir Richard is warning you of some kind of threat. And there's like that moment of tension, and then you realize that it's just spotted the underduck and has absolutely no fucking clue what it is. and it just hides behind you, making hissing sounds.
Oh,
Quack, quack, quack,
Greg,
quack.
don't worry about. That is a friend.
Can you
sort
send in
of.
a duck?
Sending the duck.
That's something I wouldn't mind losing.
You're going to have to talk to Sarah about that. I think she's the mother.
Sarah, can you control your duck in any capacity?
No, I'll tell you right now, Tia. No,
Does
you have
Sarah-
no next one.
That's the question.
I think it's kind of like a kid where you kind of hope that you want to control them, but you can't because they just do whatever the fuck they want anyways.
Really?
You could try to tell her.
Just like a kid.
How
I don't
very
like Sarah.
funny.
It's
We
the
seem to know
irony.
something about that.
Is the irony lost on Sarah?
Completely.
Ugh. Oh no, Sarah!
I just really like playing it. What? It's a lot of fun. It makes nobody complains when Calvin plays his.
Give me an athletics check.
Uh-oh.
Snatch.
God help us.
Only by 2 on a
Please go into the
17.
village.
Duran snatches the flute from you and puts it in your bag. And then
I'm gonna take this
grasping-
opportunity to throw my tantrum for 1d4 rounds. What are you doing? Give me my flute back! You can't just take over people's property just because you want to give it back right now! And she bawls, like standing, tears streaming down her
mimics
face.
her, but like it mimics her to the best of its ability, only being able to make the quacking sound.
I think our pretenses of stealth are gone, so let's just move on.
Yes,
Well, yeah.
so much for that idea.
All right.
I might as well be playing my sneaking music.
I'm gonna sneak
I will let the
as
cat
best
go on
as I
ahead
can.
anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Curtis, if you want to
Rick
break away from
will
the
go
group.
sneak along.
Oh, if the cat can go,
Yeah,
if the
Rick will
cat
sneak
can
with
get there,
Curtis.
then I'll let the
Yeah,
cat.
the
go.
cat-
I walk
So-
super far away from the party, mad at everybody. Nobody likes me. Nobody understands what it's like to be a kid. What a duck. A flute.
Sarah and the duck march off, sort of away from you, away from town, and go. And you see her marching away, and then suddenly she stops and she just drops down onto the floor. And you see her fold her arms, and then the duck next to her plops down and just lets out a dejected quack. Just both of them glaring off into nothing.
Maybe the cat can get in there now and take a look around.
Yes. Why don't
wasn't
we
a
see
cat.
what he can do?
Very confused.
Definitely does.
Okay, so as the woofing Sir Richard takes off, Lucy, you kind of have.
He's learning.
There are wild dogs left in this village.
So as you can control Sir Richard. So talk me through it. As, you have Sir Richard.
All right, so I will let him head on in there and kind of approach the bodies and sort of try to get a closer look at them.
You can get close, but you can't get closer than 10 feet. The heat
Okay.
coming off this mound is ferocious. Like, it is still really, really hot. Yeah, it is chaotic. What do... Okay.
All right,
but-
like it's still burning.
yeah, in the
Or-
center, like in the middle of the pyre, it is still burning. There's ash. It's choking the air. Like, you just wouldn't be able to get close without sort of suffering. So Richard doesn't
Okay.
want to get any closer than that.
Sure. He doesn't want to get his beautiful coat singed. I understand. So, does it seem like it's been going for several days, or it's burning down, or like it was just set?
No. It looks like it's burnt out. It probably started at least days, maybe longer ago. But somehow, like, the heat of it is still there. It's also just a kid, so
Sure.
doesn't.
It's hot. It's not great.
You could probably like root around through it with like a big stick, but I mean, you're probably going to want to wrap your face as going to be unpleasant. The smell is starting to fade already, but there's still that sickly, sweet smell of cooked flesh that lingers on.
Okay.
All right.
I will have him then also go look around the wagon.
Okay.
And
you
take a look inside if possible. If it's open and he can enter.
It's not open. You get up. You notice there's a big trunk on the back that is open, but he can't actually sort of. He tries to climb up and everything, and just isn't like it's raised off the ground quite high. So he climbs up onto the wheel and scooches round and manages to look in. And the trunk, whatever was in there, is been entirely emptied. You do notice, however, the lock has been smashed and is still hanging on in pieces.
Okay. So these are the things I will describe back to the group after I'll call him back to us. So, seems like that fire's gone down, but it's still a bit hot. I don't know that we're going to be able to even do anything to the bodies on our own, much less search them. The trunk that was on that wagon's been crushed. The lock was crushed. It's emptied.
Huh. Interesting. Someone broke in. Anyone do anything with water? Maybe cool down the body somehow?
I do have a... Pull out the,
You have
glass.
a decanter of endless water.
The decanter of endless water.
Hey!
And give it
Look
a
at that.
test. A test splash.
Test
What?
splash.
It is. There's water in. You know that when you were in the anti-magic zone, it was empty, but there is water. It splashes out.
Oh, thank goodness. It's back now.
I can help with this. We maybe work together and put this out right fast. So that just has to be turned over, nothing special, and it keeps pouring.
Yes, I just tell it how much water, and it'll be a trickle, or it'll be a a blast.
Gushing.
And it doesn't run out.
Never.
Well, this is cool.
Can I try to sneak back up to the party?
Yeah, give me
Oh
stuff.
no!
We all know what we're doing.
No more
We
ducks,
know.
please. No more ducks.
Oh, why did it roll 2?
Everyone
The hell?
sees you.
Oh, because my...
Disadvantage, but yeah, even with what you rolled on the other one, yeah, you were seeing coming on a 10.
Welcome back, Sarah.
Hello. I say like
You
mid...
feeling better?
The duck just
Are you feeling
turns
better,
his head dramatically.
Yes, you poor put upon thing. Let's get this fire put out, shall we, Calvin?
So Calvin will bring out his instrument and play a nice little airy ditty and cast levitate on it and say, tell it to just make as much as we can. And I'll flip it over, put it right above the fire and just let it dump until it's out.
Right. So she'll
So I'm able to move it.
go.
You levitate, you can move the object around. So
So yeah, she'll
Okay.
turn it over to him.
So it's the
Give it
fiber.
give it the go.
You
Yeah.
turn on. You open the floodgates, and it release the river and just blasts out, and you levitate it up, and you move it round as you play your instrument, Calvin, and it sort of swings round like it's.
swing your bottle round and round. Put out the fire up and down.
I would like to try to steal my flute back while this is happening.
in your bag.
About to partner, here we go. Round and up and ho.
Duran suddenly, very loudly and without sort of any warning, kicks open the door that's above you guys on the map and enters the building, weapon drawn, as he's checking to see, if there are bodies or anything around.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the buildings are they like ruins and are the buildings burning or no?
These buildings are fine. It's the rest of the buildings around. These are the only buildings that remain. Everything else has been smashed or burnt down.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm busy with the hoedown.
Yeah.
I'll search with him. I guess, like, if he's going into this northern one here, I'll take a look.
Give me an investigation as you come in.
I shall. Investigation is +0. That's an 8.
Okay, there is something you will spot even on your terrible roll. You roll terribly.
You should feel bad about yourself.
You should.
Rolled bad and you should feel bad.
You will find just...
You'll find what's inside, but you're gonna be punished emotionally.
Absolutely. How do I... I'm having trouble dropping that down. Oh, I think I've just dropped it behind the map, that's why. There we go. Let me share this with you. You find this, which is the emblem of the New Freefields Coalition. Which is, it's on a pretty ratty piece of fabric, almost like, you get the feeling it maybe was a, like an, hung like a tapestry sort of thing. It's quite badly done, but it's there hanging on the wall. And yeah, it is displayed. There's no actual like NFFC or New Freefields Coalition isn't written anywhere, but you recognize this symbol as it's become quite well known in quite a short amount of time. And
I put hand up to showed off to Duran. They were here.
You realize that this, as you look, the corners are torn, and you look up, and there are stretches of fabric. It looks like it was actually hung on the wall in here. As if this was a home decoration, as opposed to a sign that's been brought from the outside.
I like put it into place almost.
Yeah. And you, it won't hang because the corners are torn, but you hold it up and it's a perfect sort of fit. And he looks around, and together with your roll, he roots around and says, shakes his head at you. No bodies, no stuff. Whoever lived here, they're long gone. Well, they're out there on that pyre.
Yeah. Okay. That's...
And then
such the others.
Chuck something to you.
I try and catch it.
You easy enough, catch it. It's a pouch. It's a pouch of coin. Inside, you'll find there are 12 silver pieces. And he looks just on the sideboard. No one even bothered with it.
They weren't here for money then. They were here for the prince, I'll wager. That's a bounty enough. I'm gonna head out. Say that again.
They didn't even take the crown. They fed it to one of those animals. What? Why would you? Like, I'm not the poorest of men, but would you turn that kind of money down?
Maybe they're trying to make it seem like the prince is dead so that they can put someone else in charge that they want on the throne.
Not most men would do something like that, but we might not be dealing with men. This void cult that Gavin Fjordham was speaking of, they seem like the kind who might be capable of such evils. There's no pillaging and taking of valuables here. They came here to inflict pain. If the bodies are sort of getting cool enough, I'll start to rifle through.
You walk over, you see like there's what looks to be a halberd that is stuck out, and sort of it's mostly charred and everything like that, but they're sturdily made, and you pick it up and sort of twist it out. The smell as you get that close, especially given the fact you just poured water all over it, it's kicked up a load of like smoke, and it is foul. Everyone give me a con save as you get close to it, because I mean it's like it's gut-churningly, sickly sweet, and that horrible. It smells too familiar.
That's
too close to. Yeah, Curtis, like you have to step back and retch. Like it is just like pressed up against the wall of the nearby building, just chucking up, spewing chunks of breakfast. It's unbelievably pungent.
Chunks of frog.
Yeah, it's it isn't a pleasant sight. Lucy, unfortunately, you've smelt worse. You've smelt stuff after experiments have gone wrong. Fireballs have been cast. Well, magic sorcerers are to blame for a lot of. And only Sarah.
Barbecues are the worst of this.
Sarah, you've lived in the most dire of poverty. You've smelt so many things that it's not something that really phases you so much anymore. The two of you, the two girls, you stand close to the edge. Calvin, like you're struggling, but Sarah and Lucy, you can get a little closer, and you can give me an investigation as you do.
Sure. Yeah, Lucy's definitely going to take a look since they're just dead bodies. She's seen worse.
25 and a 19. Okay, so on the 19, Sarah, you look at this. First thing you notice, you don't see much in the way of weapons on the bodies. Most of these individuals look like they are unarmed. That's what you see at first, and then sort of you grab one of the swords that's cool enough, like one of the long swords that's cool enough, and use it, and you pull it aside, and you notice that some of these bodies have tattoos. Some of these guys don't wear armor or any armor that's sort of like you recognize. A lot of them don't seem to be wearing clothing. Like there's no, chainmail or anything like that. No tabards, no guardsmen.
Except for the tattoos, they might as well be civilians.
And then,
That's
as you turn sort of over an arm, you see underneath that there is one of these spears, which is badly broken. You notice that it's not tipped in metal. It's tipped in what looks to be flint that's been sharpened and has been lashed. But as you move your sword against it, it just comes free. And this bit of flint that's been sharpened, it's like a cool blue slate, just rolls out to your feet. And that, as you see that, Lucy, you notice that actually the majority of the weapons that you are now unearthing are made of flint, wood, like clubs with spikes attached, and those sorts of things. Like you notice there are bows, but bows that the strings have gone. There are no crossbows per se. Takes you a while to realize there's no metal.
Do they look like they come from anywhere in particular? Or
They
just that
definitely
they're
don't
just-
look like they definitely don't look like they come from Rivercroft.
Can I do?
Yep.
Can I, my knowledge of songs and folklore and tales of people who might use weapons like this, like insight or something, or whatever, from my bardic, hearing stories and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a history.
Oh, okay. That's only a 9.
Strange.
On a 9, you don't recognize any of the way these people are dressed or armed. But finally, as you notice that Duran has gone off to search the rest of the buildings, probably taking Curtis with him to sort of you guys split up and check the other two buildings over. You notice that one of these bodies, you get close enough and sort of wrapping your sort of maybe like a scarf around your face. Lucy, you look. Now, you've studied history, you've studied people and everything. Give me a history check as...
Sure.
Damn, 22. Lucy, as you look, you notice that a lot of these tattoos are animal tattoos. Takes you a little while, but you realize they're not just animal tattoos, they're clan tattoos. These are druids. And as you finally sort of realize some of these folk, if not all of them, look like they belong to the new Freefields Coalition. And as you step back, being given you a combined investigation and history rolls, you realize that the only weapons that are left behind are weapons that look like they're much more familiar. There's halberds, swords, long swords and everything like that have been pierced through them and left behind, which look like the standard armaments you'd expect Rivercroft guards to be carrying. But the bodies all appear to be of the new Freefields Coalition.
Okay.
And you sort of like piece this together, sort of noting things with Sarah. Curtis Duran tells you he's going to check on the carriage, like stepping over and says, "I need to check. I have to know if there's any bodies." And he marches over. Do you go with him, or you notice that like Lucy as well seems to have like be uncovering stuff? And
I'll go with him for sure.
Okay. As you step close, he gets close and he looks inside, and as you're following him over, he opens the carriage door. You see him look for a moment. There's a slight it's almost like as he opens it, there's like a momentary like light, as if something's glinted, but it seems to light him up for a second, like as if he's just opened it up and there's like a huge metal mirror or something that's caught the light and just silhouettes him, and he freezes, tenses, turns, and he holds out his hand to you like that. Make me a dex save.
Okay. 21.
On a 21, Curtis, you see his hand come up, and then you see his eyes. His eyes have gone wide, and there's this coldness to them, this understanding. You've seen that look before, and you just have time to flatten yourself as pieces of the carriage come flying past you, and there is a huge explosion. Everyone, you feel the ground shake underneath you. A horrendous mushroom cloud kicks up. Dirt goes flying everywhere. You're all going to be showered with broken bits of wood, splinters, clots of mud. As the carriage detonates in a huge explosion. And we're going to end there.
Well, fuck.
Well then.
Good. Good.
This is fine.
This is fine, right? Just wagons blow up.
Fine.
But totally unrelated reasons. I'm sure this is just a completely strange natural
Total
disaster.
coincidence.
Yeah. Be sure to check your wagon in case it blows up. Is Duran dead?
Hashtag check your wagon.
Is there another Duran to replace him? All these questions and more next week, my friends. Of course, we're sticking on here for the World Tree Burns in just a few minutes' time, so stick around for that. But we do have the Wild Magic Surge to read out here for Tall Squeal at the end. Tall Squeal, what does Tall Squeal get?
Tall Squeal has that his next weapon to wound target afflicts the wielder with narcolepsy. So I have a sleepy ginger hog.
No, the next person to attack your hog gets narcolepsy.
Oh, okay. The next, it's wielder, right? Yeah. So basically, if you hit Tall Squeal, you fall asleep. Oh, gosh.
Amazing. The natural defenses of Tall Squeal coming into effect. But like I say, we're going to wrap up and head into our next show, which is the World Tree Burn. So stick with us for that. If you enjoyed tonight's show, of course, hit the follow button and join us. Consider supporting Encounter Roleplay here on the Patreons. But let's go around to Cast and Crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Let's start with our Dungeon Master Encounter, Josh. How was your morning, Josh?
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah,
It's
it was,
almost 1 a.m. now. There we go.
yeah, it's almost 1 a.m. I've been up for about 3 hours now. Not even that. Guys, sleeping tablets are terrible things. Literally, there were herbal ones as well. I'm just such a lightweight. Anyway, it's been an absolute blast, unintended, to hang out with you guys and get drunk and stick frogs to logs, and that's going to be an interesting tale. For years we've had magic flutes that summon underducks and cause trouble, and now there's been a huge explosion, ending on a slightly more serious, dramatic tone. But thank you guys for coming and hanging out, and myself, I'll be in Midgard shortly, so looking forward to switching from the big chair to groveling at the knees of Dan Dillon and trying desperately to survive.
You get a beanbag chair for the next one, yeah. Cool. Let's see. Tall School, same questions, my friend.
Of course, I had a great time. Got to sing my little song, which I had written up a couple weeks ago, so that was fun. And I got to sing Gregor's song, so that was fun too. And then got to just stick a frog to a log in the air for froggy fireworks and frog legs for breakfast. So, woo! You can catch me all around the interwebs as Tall Squall with all the other fun things that I'm doing. And also under hashtag D&D Fitness for all the fun fitness challenges. Tomorrow is Walk It Off Wednesday, so tune in to find out what your how many minutes you need to walk extra tomorrow as your D&D Fitness challenge. Have a good one.
Cool. Thank you, Tall School. And Jess.
Hello again. I had a good time. It was weird. We had some weirdness and some drunken shenanigans, and then it suddenly got serious. But I didn't roll any ones for a change. This is a good day. But you can find me as Little Cup of Joe on Twitter and Twitch, where I stream a bunch of weeby things half the time, and look for me there. I think that's it. And you guys have fun as the World Tree burns.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jess. And Tia.
I had a really great time because underducks are the greatest. I was not expecting to be hit with the feels that hard in this episode today, so Gregor's song coming out of nowhere, I was just like, oh man, real people tears. You can find me here in literally 10 minutes, or you can come check out my Dungeons & Dragons Discord, which I posted there for you in chat. You can follow me here on Twitch under Laura Lania, on Twitter at mytiazimmer, and don't go anywhere because I'll be right here in 10 minutes.
Great stuff. Well, my friends, that is where we're going to end tonight's session of the Long March. We'll be seeing you guys in just a few minutes for the World Tree Burns. But of course, the Long March airs every 5 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday here on Encounter Roleplay, and I'll link you guys to all of the VODs here on YouTube in case you want to go and catch up there, all playlisted and documented there for your pleasure.
I'm actually doing a community Long March viewing in my D&D Discord. We're going to start on Wednesday, and we're going to start season 1 because I realized there's so many headphones off moments that I missed in season 1 and season 2 that I never got to see. So I want to go back and see what all you fuckers did. Look at Squall's face. He just got so scared for a second. What did you do? So if you want to join us on Wednesdays, I think at around between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, depending whenever I'm done streaming, we're going to watch season 1 and season 2 of Long March, and there's a reason for that, and we'll keep you posted on that later.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we're going to head into the next game. Thank you guys for watching this one, and until next time, try not to roll too many net ones because we want to be a laughing when you do. Good night, everybody.